Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are FC.
After being humbled in the first two games by the American League Central defending champions, the Royals must find a way to ignite their offense and cool off the red-hot Tigers. KC hopes that starts today with Jason Vargas, Tigers and Royals next. Royals baseball is presented by Academy Sports. It's a beautiful day at the K for the final game of this series between the Detroit Tigers and the Kansas City Royals. Hi, everybody. Steve Physiak, Rex Hudler with you. And the Royals ran into the Tigers perhaps at the wrong time. Detroit a week and a half ago, Rex, was kind of floundering around 500, but they have won 7 of 9 since, averaging almost 7 runs per game.
Maybe the Royals were thinking that the Kitty Cats were coming to town. Instead, they got the Tigers. Offensively, they're showing their teeth. Hey, but we've got a guy going today, Fizz, that could shut them down.
Let's hope that, because Jason Vargas against the Tigers has been good, but Verlander in his career 16-5 against the Royals.
He is and has been, but however, if you look at these numbers, it could be a low-scoring game. Both of these guys very stingy as far as giving up the runs. They're going to have to find a way, though, the Royals offense, to bust Verlander and get to that magic number of 4 runs to get it done. One thing that comes with an ace, and Vargas has been pitching like an ace, is you continue winning streaks, and unfortunately for the Royals, stop the losing streak at 3 right here. They need Vargas to shut these guys down, use that defense, and I believe he can do it.
Jason Vargas will be matched up with another V, and Justin Verlander, a former Cy Young winner. When we come back, Joe Goldberg will be talking about Salvador Perez back in the lineup.
Leg sat out yesterday, but he is back in there today. And welcome back to Kauffman Stadium. Salvador Perez had that big bruise, and there's a reason for it. That was the second ball he fouled off in that game Friday night, off the exact same spot. That bruise and the black and blue mark is bigger than the size of a fist, but he's a tough guy. He said he could have played last night. They gave him the night off, been receiving a lot of ice treatment, and he is ready to go. And that might be a good thing, because in his career against Justin Verlander, he has had a lot of success against the Tigers ace, and the numbers certainly back that up. 455 in his career. And how about this? Verlander, since 2012 April, 4 starts at the K and ERA over 6. Maybe the Royals can get to him. I'm Joe Goldberg. Enjoy the game. Perez, who left the game with a shin contusion after fouling that ball off of his leg, sat out yesterday, but he is back in there today. And welcome back to Kauffman Stadium. Salvador Perez had that big bruise, and there's a reason for it. That was the second ball he fouled off in that game Friday night, off the exact same spot. That bruise and the black and blue mark is bigger than the size of a fist, but he's a tough guy. He said he could have played last night. They gave him the night off, been receiving a lot of ice treatment, and he is ready to go. And that might be a good thing, because in his career against Justin Verlander, he has had a lot of success against the Tigers ace, and the numbers certainly back that up. 455 in his career. And how about this? Verlander, since 2012 April, 4 starts at the K and ERA over 6. Maybe the Royals can get to him. I'm Joe Goldberg. Enjoy the game.
Your Kansas City Chevy dealer. It's Chevy Truck Month. Visit your Kansas City Chevy dealers. By the Missouri Lottery, try the Missouri Lottery's new Lucky Sevens playbook. And by AT&T, mobilizing your world. It's a gorgeous afternoon at the K. Temperatures in the 80s. A good crowd on hand for the Tigers and Royals. Brad Ausmus's team has outscored KC 16-4 in the first 2 games of this series. He's going to go with speed at the top with Davis and Kinsler. Cabrera is a two-time MVP Rex, but Victor Martinez has been amazing in this series.
Yeah, he's fully healthy this year. Last year he was coming off of a knee surgery. You know, Prince Fielder was in the lineup. Took him a while to get going, but now he knows he's the guy to protect the two-time MVP award winner.
Jason Vargas 4-1 in 5 games at the K in his career, and is 7th in the American League in ERA at 2.4.
Now they're hoping that he can hit his spots. He's got to be able to change speeds, and he can do that. He only allowed 1 run in 7 innings in that game against Detroit back on April 2nd. It was a 10th inning loss, but he really pitched marvelously. If he can do that again, they'd be happy. Let's go around the horn, brought to you by your Midwestern Ford dealers. Salvador Perez, 28 start today. That's the most. I'm sure they'll monitor him as the season goes on and maybe try to give him a little bit more rest, but they got to have him in there. Pitchers love throwing to him, and when he gets his bat going, he can be dangerous on that side as well.
Great to see Salvador Perez back there, and our home plate umpire will be Gabe Morales. Tim Timmons is at first base, Tim Welke at second, and Todd Titchener at third. The Tigers enter today's game leading the American League with a .278 batting average, and Rex talked about Victor Martinez. He currently ranks 7th in the AL with a .326 batting average. But they'll go with speed at the top. Rajai Davis, acquired from the Toronto Blue Jays in the offseason. They went from mainly power last year to adding speed this season.
Tigers are 7-1 against lefties this year as a team, and they're red hot. They're rolling. So Vargas going to have to mix in all of his pitches, which he typically does. Got a cut fastball, slider, curve, great changeup. He keeps those hitters uncomfortable, and that's what they need out of him today.
And Detroit has won all 4, looking like the American League Central Division champions that they are. They've won 2 walk-offs in Detroit and 2 blowouts here in Kansas City. Davis swings and misses, down in the count, 0-2. Rajai came in hitting .325.
Rajai just 1 for 11 career off Vargas. You know, Miguel Cabrera, Martinez, Hunter, those guys are all hot right now. They're like the Royals were a week ago. Any 1 through 9 can beat you at any time. And that's the same way the Tigers are, their offense. You're going to have to really just out-pitch them, shut them down, use the defense. Vargas is good with that.
The count has gone 2-2. And a good pitch off speed. Davis way out in front. Strikeout number 1 for Jason, number 24 for him this year.
Yeah, perfect spot there. That changeup is a beauty. He'll throw that at any particular time, but that's where he likes to locate it against righties.
Jason loves this weather, being from Southern California. It's 83 degrees today. Slight breeze out of the south at 8 miles an hour. That will help the right-handed hitters against the lefty Vargas. And a hot Kinsler steps in, a 4-game hit streak, 7 for his last 17, and 4 for 8 in this series.
$19 for 47 with a couple of homers lifetime off Vargas. He's a .400 hitter this year against lefties too. He's been wait until that ball comes into him. He crowds the plate. He gets right up on it. He has no fear. And I respect the fact that he crowds the plate with no elbow pad on.
He almost dares you to come inside, and when he was with Texas, they had that high wall in left field, and yet he still would hit those high arcing shots over it. 3-time All-Star. He had 63 home runs in 2 seasons, 2009, 2010 combined. And he rips this one to left field for a base hit that will get all the way to the wall. Gordon gets to it as quickly as possible, but he knows Kinsler's speed will give him a double with 1 out.
It's almost like he knew the curveball was coming. He stayed up in the zone a tad. He waited for it to come down. Ends up right over the middle of the plate. Pitchers are going to make mistakes over the middle, but to a hot team like the Tigers, they'll make you pay. They've showed the first 2 games of this series.
We told you winning 7 of their last 9. They have scored 62 runs, almost 7 per game in that span. Swung on and missed, strike 1. You all know about Cabrera, back-to-back MVPs. Last year hit .348 with 44 home runs. Off to a slow start this year. And at first, Rex, a lot of opponents were not pitching to him. They were choosing Victor Martinez. And now Miggy being a little more selective. Still, he has only walked 7 times.
Yeah, now, you know, Victor Martinez is healthy. And he's the only choice to hit behind Cabrera because of his ability to hit.
And a good power guy from both sides of the plate. Martinez, a switch hitter. He's in the on-deck circle. Cabrera goes to right field. Aoki has a beat on it. Sets himself, and Kinsler will not go.
Great positioning there by Aoki. Getting in back of the ball, coming in, that's really helps the fielder on his throw. See, he's got not just 1 or 2 steps, he took about 5 or 6. Kinsler's not going anywhere anyway. If it's later in the game, score's tied or something, he might try it, but not in the first inning here, especially with Victor coming out.
Victor with a 6-game hit streak and hitting .435 in that span. 6 runs scored, 3 doubles, a home run, 8 RBIs. Vargas gets strike 1. And Jason in the top 10 in ERA, innings pitched, walks per 9 innings. He is a command pitcher. He only averages 1.7 walks per 9 innings, and that's one of the best.
Victor Martinez, pretty well rounded on both sides of the plate. That's this season. More production from the left side. He faces more righties.
And the Tigers have torn up everybody in the clutch on this road trip. They're hitting .391 with runners in scoring position away from Detroit this last week.
You're not going to be able to strike out Martinez, so you just want to keep the ball down, use the defense, hope he hits it at somebody. He's going to hit it.
A strike there, and he's even in the count 2-2. But we told you on Friday, Rex, he has a ridiculous number of strikeouts this year, only 3. And the last time he struck out looking was in May last year. So if it's close, he'll be swinging.
That's incredible. Unbelievable.
I think it's May 13th last year, last time he struck out looking. May 21st. Producer Joe Libero just let me know May 21st was the last time Victor struck out looking. And he fouls off a tough pitch by Jason. The count stays 2-2. Third straight game with very good crowds at the K. He's tough.
Yeah, you know, he hits the ball wherever it's pitched, wherever it's on. He knows with 2 strikes on him, anything close, he's hacking. Good arms in the Royal outfield. Dyson throws really well for a center fielder. Gordon, we all know about him. He's fantastic. Aoki, he's playing extremely deep for Victor. Don't know on a routine single if he'll be able to throw out Kinsler.
Down the right field side, but foul. And Rex, we saw Victor grow up in that Cleveland Indians organization, and he was always a better hitter than defensive catcher. And they were talking about moving him to first base. Well, eventually they traded him to the Boston Red Sox, and now he's with Detroit. But he's in a role that he loves, a designated hitter. We can think about just one thing rather than catching and hitting.
Yeah, no, he's legit. As good as they come as a designated hitter. Just both sides of the plate, consistency. That's what you want.
Lines it to left field for a base hit. Gordon will try and throw him out, and Kinsler puts the brakes on. How about that? That is respect. Usually with 2 out, they send him.
Ball was hit so hard. Kinsler got a great jump at second base, but because of how hard the ball was hit, it got to Gordon before he even hit third base. So Clark says, you know what, I think we'll just take our chances here. Torrey Hunter coming up. Torrey's got 16 RBIs and a .286 hitter with a runner in scoring position. We'll just take our chances. So that's the intimidation factor that Gordon has in left field.
Even though his throw tailed a little bit away from home plate, it's about reputation. Those 57 assists since he moved from third base to the outfield. Strike one. Hunter, another hot hitter, a 10-game hit streak, batting .386 in that time. And he's raised his average over the 300 mark.
Brad Ausmus is trying to find somebody now that can hit behind Victor Martinez with some presence. Torrey has that.
Boy, Hunter hit a long home run last night. 9-2 Detroit victory. Advantage Vargas 0-2. Way high. Went with the fastball, and that was his best velocity at 88 miles an hour.
It's not going to overpower you, but he'll finesse you. Wants to get his team back in there before they score a run. Tigers keep them out from scoring this inning.
And then he went with the off speed. That fastball at 88 set up his off speed at 81. And now he wants to have a visit with Salvador Perez. Key at bat here early. The Royals do not want to get down on this Tiger team. With their offense has been so strong recently. Jason, though, having to work in this first inning, throwing 24 pitches already. Up high, 2-2. So he's gone fastball, changeup, fastball, last 3 pitches.
Sometimes, you know, against a hot hitter, you got to just challenge him down in the strike zone. Put something down around the knees, and hopefully he hits it at somebody. That's what you hope for as a pitcher. You know, you're not overpowering. You're not going to blow anything by anybody. So you're looking to use that defense.
Doubled up on the fastball, and he saw that Hunter was out in front. Full count. So he's gone from 0-2 to 3-2. And this is a much more disciplined team than we have seen in recent weeks. The Tigers don't walk much. There's 73 walks coming into this game. That was 12th out of the 15 American League teams. And they're known for free swinging, but they have been very disciplined in this series. To third, Moustakas has it. In time, the threat over. 15. Nori Aoki will lead things off. Omar Infante goes 2. But Rex, where do you think the Royals need to get their big hitters from?
Man, anywhere 1 through 9 Fizz, to be specific. However, Billy Butler and Salvador Perez has the most success against Verlander in their careers, both hitting well over 400 off of him. But they're looking for any man to step up. Verlander, he's going for his first road win here in Kansas City for the first time now in the last couple of years. He's 0-2 with this over a 6 ERA in his last 4 starts here at the K. That's a positive. That's what the offense can take. They remember, and so does Verlander. Verlander, though, will be tough. That ERA's 8th best in the American League, 26 strikeouts in 26 innings over his last 4 starts. He's got a good hard fastball that he'll use. It'll fluctuate from 90 to 96. Power curve, slider, and a changeup.
With Aoki up, both corners will be in. Verlander, an exceptional athlete, very good fielder. He has a terrific pickoff move as well. But this is a guy who has thrown a lot of pitches in his career. 140 wins in 9 years, 1,812 innings, over 1,700 strikeouts. Up and in, 1 ball, 1 strike. But that said, Rex, his velocity's down about 2.5 miles per hour.
Yeah, you know what? You can't throw 98 forever. He's going to be just fine in the low 90s. Smart guy, learned a lot, Cy Young Award winner. He's done it all, except win a World Series title.
He almost hit Aoki there, throwing at his feet.
Aoki has faced Verlander now at least in 1 game. He's 0 for 4, but he's got a pretty good idea about the tendency. Just missed his knee. He's trying to come inside. But Aoki has shown that he can adjust and pull that ball down the right field line if you keep challenging him in there.
He waves at the off-speed pitch.
That's a beautiful pitch there, especially after that inside fastball to go soft away with that changeup. Spun him like a top.
Aoki tries to flip it to left, but it will reach the seats. And Rex, Nori is as deep as you can get in that box. I mean, he has that back foot halfway on the line and halfway out of the box.
Some guys want to see the ball as long as they can. That's why they get on their back line.
Three and two.
Verlander is one of those guys that doesn't look like he's given max effort. His delivery is so smooth. He's deceptive. Ball gets on you in a hurry.
His fastball is usually low to mid-90s early, and then he can reach back for more. And there's ball 4 and a walk to Aoki.
Let's take a look at the Tigers defense behind Verlander. We're going to highlight one of the classiest Major League Baseball players that's come around in a long time. On the field, he can do that as well. Look at the longevity. This guy here is a fantastic athlete and human being, but I'll tell you, they don't pay him to be a nice guy. That just comes with it. He's the total package. They pay him to produce.
Now his teammate Omar Infante. Aoki gets back, and we told you Justin Verlander has an exceptional move, and it all starts with his feet. Infante last year with the Tigers hit .318, did miss 1 month on the DL, and he pumps that one foul. And that was when Colby Rasmus of the Toronto Blue Jays was breaking up a double play and injured Infante on the play. He missed a month with that leg injury, but came back and helped the Tigers to the Central title. Omar goes right center field. Austin Jackson gives way to Torrey Hunter. Aoki had tagged at first, decided not to go, and there's 1 out.
Aoki has 3 stolen bases this year. He's been caught 3 times.
Miguel Cabrera towering over him.
Okay, there's Dave Dombrowski, general manager of the Detroit Tigers. He's adjusting his set after Infante hit one at him up there, and I don't know if it busted his set or what, but he said, "Take that, former GM." Dave, let the crew take care of that, all right? No, don't worry about those kind of things. Let the technicians fix it for you.
He's still working on it, and now Eric Hosmer will step up. He's been a doubles machine this past week. Hosmer now tied for second with Alex Gordon with 12 doubles. Trevor Plouffe of Minnesota leads the American League with 13, but Hos has 5 in his last 4 games. As a matter of fact, that is our Toyota League leaders. Hosmer on a double surge. Plouffe with 13, and Eric and Alex, and there were 3 players tied with 11. Cieto, Pedroia, James Loney.
Hosmer hasn't homered since September 21st of last year against Texas. He's way overdue.
He hit 16 of his 17 after June 1st last year. Got that one on the fist and pops it up left side. Castellanos battling the sun is there to make the catch for the second out.
Your 3 and 4 hitters got 1 home run between them. You're going to have a hard time winning, scoring runs. Those are positions where you don't necessarily need all the power, but they sure do help a pitching staff.
Well, here's the guy you were talking about, Billy Butler, with his tremendous success against Justin Verlander. And if you talk to Bill about it, he doesn't want to mention a word. He goes, all I can tell you is Verlander's great. And sure, I've been lucky in a few hits, but hey, he'll take the .437 average. Quite frankly, Rex, you take a look at the numbers, and Billy's been up a lot of times. It's not like he's had 15, 20 at bats against the guy. Billy's been up there 71 times against Justin Verlander with 31 hits, 2 home runs. It's that one to right center. Jackson, the fly chaser at the track, pulls it down, and the Royals go quietly after the walk. He's the Sprint Family Plan winner, and with the Sprint Family Plan, everyone gets unlimited talk, text, and 1 gigabyte of data for as low as $25 a month per line while on the Sprint network. The more people added, up to 10 total, the lower your rate. Plus, while you'll save as a team, all accounts can be billed individually. And our Sprint family question of the day: what is the toughest offensive achievement to accomplish in a game? Hit for the cycle, 5+ base hits, 3+ home runs, 4+ stolen bases. Text Sprint at 432-432 and enter A, B, C, or D. Rex, you've chased all of them. Tell me which one's the most difficult.
Oh man, A without a doubt. Harder to hit for a cycle than to throw a no-hitter.
How close to a cycle did you ever get?
Going to the motorcycle shop and looking at the motorbikes. That's as close as I ever came to a cycle.
Good answer. Austin Jackson skies it to center field. Gerard Dyson out there. He makes the catch. And Lorenzo Cain, as Joe Goldberg told you in the Hy-Vee pregame show, has played 2 games 0 for 7, but he did play last night in center field, so he's getting closer and closer to getting back with the big league club. Tim Collins was activated today, and Aaron Brooks sent back to Omaha. Now with 1 out, Nick Castellanos. Good looking rookie out of Davie, Florida, 22 years old. Played outfield last year because they thought they could get his bat quicker into the lineup, but when they traded Prince Fielder to allow Cabrera to move from third to first, well, that opened up the hot corner for Nick, and that is his favorite position.
That'll be a big question mark for him. Not so much his bat. He's got a very nice inside-out swing. He uses the whole field. He's not a guy that relies on power. Power's going to happen for him. He's got a very good plate discipline for a young guy. And going through the first time in his rookie year, there'll be some challenges for him. They'll lay some balls in there for him and see what he does with them, and then pitching will start making adjustments on him.
That's the way it came down and in, got him to swing over the top.
It always is. Now, he certainly would be a chance for Rookie of the Year if he stays healthy. He's already got 17 ribbies.
Well, how about that Abreu kid from Chicago? He's got 33 already.
Yeah, this kid's that good of a rookie, though. He's got a pretty good chance.
And Rex, quite frankly, Abreu, you can't say is a rookie because he had so many pro years with the Cuban national team.
Same way with Tanaka.
Yes.
In New York, but those 2 guys probably will be the guys.
That is blasted deep. Gordon going back, and Nick Castellanos hits his 4th home run of the year.
That's the 5th home run to a right-hander that Vargas has given up. Most of them have been solo shots. But he's able to keep his hands in on this one and pull him. Salvi's trying to come in and didn't quite get in enough. A hot team is swinging the bats. Anything that catches a large part of the plate, they're going to hit.
They have jumped on every single Kansas City mistake in this series, winning the first 2 games by scores of 7-2 and 9-2, and Porcello and Smiley completely muffled the KC offense. Now Alex Avila swinging early, pops it up. Alex Gordon angling his body away from the sun and pulls it down for out number 2.
Nothing beats a Sunday afternoon at the K with your family. Before the Royals take the field, come enjoy face painters, balloon artists, and high energy performance by School of Rock at the Outfield Experience. Plus, to cap off your day, kids 14 and under can run the bases after the game. The K is your family fun destination. For tickets, go to Royals.com/Sunday.
Good to see Iowa State Cyclone fans here at the ballpark today. Coming down I-35 on a beautiful afternoon.
Players love the sunshine, but man, not when that ball gets up in it. Watch Alex Gordon, how he angles his body, trying to turn his body sideways and look out at the ball coming down in that sun at a different direction.
A swing and a miss by Andrew Romine. Vargas gets a strikeout. his second of the afternoon, but he threw one that Nick Castellanos really liked. Photo using hashtag KCFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast, brought to you by AT&T. Big crowd on hand at the K. They're hoping the Royals can come from behind and sneak out a victory here and then head out on the road to San Diego and Seattle with some confidence. They won 2 of 3 from Toronto and then really humbled by Detroit in the first 2 games of this one. Alex Gordon will lead things off. 1 for 6 in the series.
Hey, young players out there watching this game. Take a look, just watch these hitters and pitchers closely. Verlander, before he even throws the pitch, he takes a huge breath and exhales. Relaxes him. Deep breathing is so important when it comes to a sport like baseball, when your focus has to be so keen for a short amount of time. Deep breathing. Not heavy breathing, a deep breath, exhale. Okay, watch it. In, out. See how his shoulders go down and everything? He relaxes. You're able to react quicker when you do that.
I remember him talking to young athletes about that when you try and throw harder, you tense up and you don't.
Same way with swinging the bat. You grip that bat too tightly and you get up there all tense, you will miss most of the time.
Who was it, Rex, that a game we did in the past and his hands were so loose in the bat? Was it Gary Sheffield? And you were talking about that, and Gary just then nailed a home run about 425 feet.
Yes, Sheffield's been out of the game for a long time. It wasn't Sheffield. It was, who was that we saw it recently? We brought it out.
I'm talking about years. We've been working together for like 15 years, Hud. So
yeah, but
Sheffield was playing.
We'll show you. We'll show you. All right, just a reminder as you enjoy a cold one to look forward to Miller Time later in today's game, brought to you by Miller Lite.
Here's Salvador Perez, who has had amazing success against the Detroit right-hander.
So far in his young career, 11 for 24.
And 7 of those 11 hits are for extra bases, including a home run. Salvi missed yesterday. He had that contusion on his shin after he fouled a ball off of his front leg on Friday.
Royals just want to go up there and try to meet the ball and get some base hits. Don't try to overswing against Verlander. Pick a spot. Ball gets in that spot. Try to drive it.
Well, he tried to drive that one and pushes Jackson to the warning track. Not deep enough. It goes back to that line that George Brett always said. He said, don't try and hit it far. Try and hit the ball hard.
Yeah, try easier. Ball's elevated. That's exactly what Verlander wants to do in this ballpark. He wants to pitch to the middle of the field. 410 dead center here with a nice high wall. It's not easy to get a homer there. You don't see too many players, opposing or home players, hit homers in dead center. So he's going to throw up in the zone, out over the middle.
Moustakas back in there with the right-hander on the mound, and Mike swings at the first pitch and had a good rip. Fouled it back, strike one. With the lefty Smiley going last night, the Royals going with Danny Valencia against the Southpaws and Moustakas against the right-handers. Still leads the club in home runs with 4. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Outfielders are playing Moose to a slight pull. He wants to keep that nice level swing straight away and try to keep it down. This area right here is where Moose wants to try to direct that ball. That'll keep him in. Any mistake, anything floating over, he'll naturally pull that. But he wants to get his average right. He wants to shoot that side of the field. The 2-strike approach that him and Pedro Grifol worked on all winter.
In there, strike 3 called. The first K for Verlander this afternoon. 1-0 Detroit.
That's Uncle Charlie. That's not fair. Receive a limited edition Royals baseball t-shirt, cap, car magnet, 2 ticket vouchers, free stadium tour, and much more. Membership is just $25. Be a part of the fun all season long. Join now at Royals.com/Blue Crew. It's a great deal. School will be out in a few weeks, Fizz. Sign those kids up.
Get them down to the K. Enjoy a fantastic summer. Rajai Davis is the batter. He struck out swinging his first time up, takes ball 1. Detroit leads 1-0 on a Castellanos home run. Rex, you look at Rajai Davis, who's considered one of the better base runners in the game, and he has a career with 277 stolen bases, and you think that's a lot, isn't it?
You better believe it is.
Ricky Henderson had 1,406. That's like 50% more than the second place Lou Brock.
Well, Ricky was a freak.
He was amazing. And there's a shot down the line, and that's trouble. Davis will have 2.
And I say that in a good way. I mean, he was a one of a kind, Ricky Henderson. He was built strong, low to the ground. Took off. He was at full speed in 1 step, not 2. So there's a ball out over the plate. A little bit elevated. Davis, leadoff double.
Somehow the Royals have to cool off Detroit's offense, but Rex, somehow the Royals must put together some kind of offense against these Tigers. Last 16 games, KC only averaging 2.5 runs per game, and that will not get it done. Davis always a threat to go. Kinsler swings and sends it to right. Aoki will make the catch. Davis will not go, and they're unable to advance the runner. That's what Vargas does so well. This year, opposing hitters coming into this game, 4 for 25 with runners in scoring position. And in that first inning, after Kinsler had doubled, he got Cabrera on a fly out to right. Victor Martinez singled, but they held Kinsler at third base, and he got Torrey Hunter on a grounder to third. Strike 1.
Hey, third base coach for the Tigers, Dave Clark. Great baseball man. You just see he's smart too. He moves all around that box. He comes up real close to the hitter, and then sometimes he moves away, backs up. He rarely stands in the same spot. Sometimes I've seen him down here really close to home plate. I asked him before the game, Clarky, man, you got to be careful up that close. He says, I watch, I react. I got quick feet. He showed me a little 1-2. You got to have it. That's a real dangerous spot. That's why they got helmets on those base coaches.
Do you remember where the Oakland third base coaches used to position themselves for Jose Canseco? They were almost down in the corner of left field. Clark positioning himself with a runner in scoring position at second base.
He's ready. Infante holding him close. Davis, he might try to steal.
He does go. Pitch taken. Perez throw not in time. Stolen base number 10 for Davis.
Yeah, he had a nice lead, even with the bag. Takes off the minute he lifted up his foot. There was no contest, even on a perfect throw.
And this is where Cabrera is really tough. But Vargas was able to control him that first game of the season. Actually, it was game 2, but the first for Jason, meeting Cabrera. And Rex, he struck him out with an 87-mile-an-hour fastball right down the middle.
You know, he was thinking up there a little bit too much.
Well, they walk him. Now must pitch to the red-hot Victor Martinez, who was 11 for his last 24.
Infielders now, they're looking in the dugout, and they want to know, we're going to play a double play depth, or we're going to stay in and cut the run home. Dale Swaim said, let's move back. Let's take our chances and get 2. So you can see him moving back in the double play position. With 1 out here, they're hoping that Victor will hit the ball right at somebody on the ground.
And the Royals pitching staff has more of a fly ball pitching staff. Vargas certainly more of a fly ball pitcher than he is a ground ball pitcher. Has 1 ground out in the game. That was when he got Torrey Hunter to end the first. 4 flyouts and a couple of strikeouts. Strike 1. Changed his eyesight by sending one upstairs.
These Tigers hitters are veteran hitters. They've been in the league a long time. That'll work.
Escobar giving way to Gerard Dyson, and Davis will not go. Cutoff man was Eric Hosmer, and Dyson hit him perfectly.
He stayed up in the zone on him, and he won that time. Escobar went back. He had no chance of seeing that. He lost it right away. Dyson called him off.
So Hunter is up again with runners in the corners. It was the same situation in the first inning, and he grounded out to third. Foul back, and that was in his wheelhouse.
Yeah, he wasn't looking to doink one out there either. That he had a full rip.
Opposing batters with 2 out this year against Jason Vargas have only 2 hits in 16 at bats. But there's a base hit to left field, and that will drive in Davis to make it 2-0. Hunter's hit streak reaches 11 games.
Okay, pitch down again out over the plate. Salvador was reaching down on the ground to get it, but he's able to lift it. He didn't want to roll over his hands and hit a little ground ball, so he stayed right with it. Stayed through the ball.
The Tigers now with a run in the second inning on the Castellanos home run, and a base hit now in the third with 2 out by Torrey Hunter. They've outscored the Royals 18-4 in the 2+ games. Now Jackson, who at 272 last year was their leadoff hitter last season, scored 99 runs, but they moved him down in the order after Prince Fielder was traded to Texas. Popped up right side, foul territory. Will there be enough room for Hosmer? Yes, there will. The Tigers get a big hit by Hunter with 2 out. They take a 2-0 lead on KC.
For the Royals Alumni Fantasy Camp, and all those fantasy campers are here, and many of the Royals alumni here as well. Joel Goldberg joined right now by former Royals infielder Greg Pryor, former Royals reliever Jamie Bluma. As I know how much fun you have with this. What's this day like when you get a chance to meet all these guys again and hang out with the guys that were playing for you?
Well, we had fantasy camp January, and I think they're finally not sore now. They were sore for like 3 months. So, no, it's great to see them back. We've done this every year as a reunion, and it's great to see them again.
And Jamie, I know, well, first off, you guys, for that one day you have to play, you guys are sore for a lot of months too, but this thing gets pretty competitive, doesn't it?
Crazy competitive. I didn't get a chance to make it this year because I'd blown out my Achilles, so I'm in the same boat as a few of the guys. One guy actually got hit by the first pitch today in the shin. Now he's in a wheelchair up here tonight, so just good to see everybody and get back together.
I can't tell you for sure, he's right next to you too, whether we told you or whether we showed you that on the pregame show or not, but there might have been a little Harry Doyle that I channeled there with just a bit outside. That first pitch actually hit a fantasy camper.
It actually hit him. I didn't know it until we got to the elevator, and he had the softball on his ankle, and he'd come rolling up here with all of us in a wheelchair.
Just like fantasy camp over again. That's what happens at fantasy camp.
Greg, they tell you you better be ready and in shape because you're going to be sore from the moment you get there. By the way, we just showed video of that first pitch.
Well, you know, the great thing about fantasy camp is that a number of guys come and have been coming every year. I think we've done it 8 or 9 straight years now, and we've had guys that have come every year, and it just shows a testimony of what it means for the alumni to get together with really great Royals fans to have a great time in Surprise, Arizona.
You know, Greg, one of the nice things is it's really now multiple generations worth of former Royals that are involved in this, and I know you guys enjoy the camaraderie, reliving the old days with these fantasy campers. You get really competitive.
Well, we try to make it not too competitive, but the guys want to win, and they go out and they do what they can, and the winning team acts like they won the World Series, and that's what's great about the camp. It's competitive, but it's not.
And Jamie, I know you weren't there this year, but you've known a lot of these campers that have come back year in and year out, so you know a lot of these guys well too. So how much fun is it to be able to see all of them? And I know the stories get bigger and bigger each year.
Well, it's great. You make friendships outside of just fantasy camp with a whole lot of these guys, especially the guys that have come back year after year. And I know a couple times when we play against the campers, they got a couple W's under their belt against the alumni the last couple of years, so that's kind of bragging rights for those guys.
I got to mention, too, it was a good year for Wichita State with the basketball, but you were over there yesterday, from what I hear, and we see, seems like almost every series, we see somebody that played baseball at Wichita State going up against the Royals or occasionally playing for the Royals.
Yeah, it was fun. Was at the game in Wichita yesterday. Todd Butler, the new head coach. They actually got to play up here at Kauffman Stadium a couple weeks ago on a Tuesday, so hopefully he'll get that program back to the prominence it was back in the early mid-'90s.
Back in the Bluma years.
Back in the Bluma years, yeah, with Jeff and Mark and myself. Really something to be proud of.
Now, your first pitch was better than the guys today?
Yeah, 57 miles an hour yesterday. One of the scouts was back there, and it was not a strike.
There it is. There's the ankle or the shin right there. Salvador Perez took one Friday night, had to sit a day, so this one might take a little bit of time too. Jamie Bluma, Greg Pryor, thank you guys for the visit. And see, it can be dangerous out here, Hud. You never know when you're going to get hit by that first pitch.
Oh, no, campers, man, that's a great experience. If you guys get a chance, folks want to get out there, man, sign up for that.
Well, if Verlander gets this kind of help, it's going to be very difficult for the Royals. The Fox track said that pitch was outside, but Verlander gets it, and that is his second strikeout. Both have been looking, got Moustakas on a curve, and now Dyson on the curve, and there's 2 out, nobody on. Aoki peppers it down the line, foul.
Last time up, Verlander was coming inside quite often against Aoki, so he's up there looking to pull it.
No 0 for 5 in his career against the Detroit ace. He had one of the most dominating seasons in the history of the game in 2011 when he won both the Cy Young and MVP. He won pitching's Triple Crown. Most strikeouts, lowest ERA, most wins. He went 24-5 that 2011 season. And there is Aoki trying to bunt, pulled it back in time as it drifted outside.
Don't want it? Pull it back.
The Royals have had one base runner. It was Aoki in the first inning. He walked to lead things off, but the Royals have gone quietly the next 8. Tigers have 2 runs on 5 hits. A home run by Castellanos gave them a 1-0 lead in the second. And with 2 out, Torrey Hunter singled in Rajai Davis.
Been a little mix up there.
So Avila and Verlander finish their conversation. Justin goes back to work with a 2-2 count on the Royals right fielder. A little bit low, 3-2. Aoki getting the best at bats against Verlander, making him work. He's thrown just a total of 40 pitches, almost through 3. And ball 4. How about that? 2 walks by Aoki. Now 10 this year. And Omar Infante will step to the plate.
That's a great take there. That pitch was very close.
And Rex Verlander on pace for 85 walks. That's the most since the 2008 season for him. And that 2008 season was one of his worst. He went 11-17 that year. And what was interesting about that season is that he was throwing a lot of 2-seam fastballs. And I remember him telling the story that he was watching TV and he knew Zach Greinke of the Royals threw a 2-seam fastball. And he goes, man, Greinke's not throwing the 2-seamer. He's only going 4-seamer. And he said Greinke was going right after him and shut them out in 9 innings. So he said, I'm junking the 2-seamer and going back with the hard stuff.
Yeah, look, if your fastball's good and alive that day, and it's lively, challenge hitters, especially above the belt when you have 95 plus. Get him to pop it up, swing and miss.
Infante with 2 home runs this year leads the club with 19 RBIs. He had that amazing game in Baltimore last week when he drove in 6 runs. That tied a career high. He also did that against the Royals last September.
Well, you know, that's when the Royals were clicking offensively. They were putting it together. It's peaks and valleys during the season. But the Tigers starters, they have a 1.29 ERA during the 5-game winning streak against the Royals. So they've been pulling out their best pitching against Kansas City. And that's when you want to do it.
In there, 2-1. The Royals really believe their offense will break out, and we haven't seen it yet. I mean, 10th in the American League in batting, second to last in runs scored, dead last in home runs, 13th in on-base percentage, and they know they're way better than that, but they're hanging around 500. Aoki goes, the pitch is swung on, hit to the right side. Hunter is there and makes the catch, and that will do it for the Royals in the 3rd. To the 4th we go at the K, 2-0 Tigers. The month at rallyhouse.com/Royals, and you'll be entered to win a majestic prize pack from Rally House. Omar Infante, who was the Royals Player of the Month. James Shields, Pitcher of the Month of April. Royals looking for their first win in May. They went through a dreadful May last year that cost them, and that was a crazy time when they got hot finally. They went from 8 games under 500 to 8 games over 500 to eventually finishing 10 over. Cracks one through Escobar, and Castellanos is the first man out of the 4th inning. Royals had a stretch where they went 5-23 in May. I mean, they had all kinds of problems, and they fired their 2 hitting coaches. They hired Pedro Grifol and George Brett. And Pedro really worked the mechanical side, worked with the drills, and George Brett was very influential mentally, trying to get the guys' heads right, confident, have fun again at the game. And they started. And they had 4 straight winning months. They had a winning April. That's cracked foul by Avila. Alex popped up to left in the first pitch he saw from Vargas in the 2nd inning, and that was right after Castellanos hit that home run. One ball, 1 strike. Rex, what have you noticed is the biggest difference going from a veteran manager like Jim Leyland to Brad Ausmus?
Well, for Ausmus, he's inherited a team that's already ready to go. It's not like they're rebuilding or anything. And Leyland, being the World Series skipper that he has been in his great managerial career, I think he'll be a Hall of Famer for sure. He was a little bit different, you know, a little bit firmer. He's seen a lot more, but Ausmus commands the same type of respect. To catch 18 years in the big leagues and have people skills, communication skills, that's the #1 thing. I was talking to him in his office today. He said, you know, dealing with my team and my coaches is one thing, but the media is the other. And I have a lot of experience over my career by doing that. And if you're a catcher, there are a lot more managers that were ex-catchers in Major League Baseball, largely because of the communication skills.
Avila swings and misses and strikes out, so 2 quick outs in the 4th inning for Vargas.
Royals fans, don't miss your chance to take part in Zuba Palooza Day at the K on Friday, May 16th. These one-of-a-kind pens won't be given out at the gate, so the only way to get your custom Royal Zuba is by purchasing that special ticket package at Royals.com/Zubapalooza. Packages start at only $25, so visit Royals.com/Zubapalooza today.
Romine takes a rip at a Vargas fastball at 87 miles an hour. Andrews struck out swinging first time up. His batting average right now at 205. And you've heard the story of the shortstop troubles that they have with Iglesias, lost during spring training for the year because of stress fractures in both shins. They also lost an outfielder in Andy Dirks, reliever in Rondon. And 3 things you need to know about Andrew Romine from Trabuco Hills, California. His brother Austin, a catcher in the Yankees system, AAA. Dad Kevin played for the Red Sox from 85 to 91. And Andrew belts a base hit to left center field with 2 out.
It's all in the family. Played against his father. Good hitting outfielder. I talked with Romine on Friday about his new situation here, and he said he's really came to the right place at the right time for him. You know, regardless of what they do in the future at shortstop, he's their guy now, and he feels really comfortable. And when it comes to playing for Ausmus, he said he's so relaxed. you would never know he was a rookie manager. Just by the way he carries himself.
Andrew, good speed, 3 for 3 stealing bases this year. Vargas will give him a throw. Detroit has 1 steal in this game. It was Davis' steal of third in the third, and he would score on Hunter's base hit. A ground ball through the whole right side. Man, they are doing everything right. Even when they get fooled, they hit it in the hole and find right field. So a 2-out base hit for Davis, and now first and third for Vargas.
Omar Vizquel, the first base coach, he's extremely valuable being on that field. And just a little thing that I noticed is going first to third for Romine, that was a given. He's got good speed. But Davis, right there, he turns around before the Infante caught the ball, and Omar's saying, hey, watch the ball. What? You know, he could drop the ball. So Davis turned around real quick and goes, oh yeah, I forgot. No, you got to always watch that ball. Vizquel, he was a master at the little things. Watch the ball until it's back into the pitcher's glove. If he drops it, you got a chance to advance. But if you're not looking, you can't advance.
And Davis getting a big lead at first base. 10 for 11 with steals this year. Royals really have to be conscious on defense. We told you about 9 errors by their pitchers this year, and many on pickoffs. Davis goes, pitch swung on and missed. Perez not going to throw, not with Romine at third, so second and third with 2 out.
Let him have the bag. Chances of getting him weren't very good anyway. He didn't go first movement, but he's so fast he picked up steam, and Salvi said not a chance. There's no need.
Two and one. Vargas has pitched very well, and his short stay with Kansas City came in with a 2.4 earned run average, 7th lowest in the American League, but has allowed 2, not yet 4 innings. He gets a strike across and knifed the inside corner perfectly with an 88-mile-an-hour fastball. Try it again at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Last time against the Tigers, Jason only gave up 1 run in 7 innings, and that was a home run by Ian Kinsler. But he got out of so many jams in that game. I remember him striking out Victor Martinez with 2 on 2 out to end the 6th inning. Up high, 3-2.
Okay, even though first base is open, you don't necessarily want to try to pitch around because you got MVP on deck. Challenge him here, down low. Hope he hits it out somewhere.
Up the middle. Escobar gets it. Quick toss. Not in time. A run scores, 3-0 Detroit.
He did what he wanted to do. Vargas did. Put the ball in play, but Escobar had to range a little bit too far up the middle. Kinsler still runs well. Great pick by Hosmer. If he misses that, another run scores.
The Tigers simply playing magnificent baseball right now. Pitching, offense, defense. The Royals are the victims right now. But KC's got to do something about making their own breaks, particularly on the offensive side. All this started with 2 out. A single by Romine, a 205 hitter. Then a seeing eye single to the right side by Rajai Davis, and an infield hit by Kinsler. And now Cabrera will knock in another. Maybe 2. He will.
Okay, they're rolling. That ball was a couple of inches outside. Reached out. He's a great hitter. Hits the ball wherever he wants to, wherever it's pitched.
Rex, the Royals have played the Tigers, the White Sox, the Rays, the Twins, the Astros, Cleveland, Baltimore, Blue Jays, and this is by far the most impressive team we've seen. The 3 games in this series, they have been absolutely on fire, doing nothing wrong.
Well, they're rolling. They're pitching and they're hitting. So the Royals obviously caught them at the wrong time. It's up to them to try to change it, though. They haven't even scratched the surface against Verlander. Not a hit yet.
They will intentionally walk Victor Martinez. The Royals have been doing that lately, even though Hunter's been a hot hitter with an 11-game hit streak, and he'll be next. He's batting .390 during that span, and they are picking their poison because every single batter in this lineup has been hot. Kinsler came in with he now has a 5-game hit streak. Cabrera has a 10-game streak. Martinez has a 7-game streak. Hunter has an 11-game streak, and on it goes.
Okay, Torrey Hunter extended his hitting streak last night with a home run. Where was that? Right on the middle of the plate. See, he had a nice little follow through. Leaned back on it, and Torrey forgot about the baby. Had to give the baby a knuckleball.
Strike 2. Vargas got the first 2 outs, but the next 5 have reached. It's gone from 2-0 to 5-0.
Well, their pitch selection has been exceptional too during this time. They're seeing the ball extremely well, no matter who's throwing it. Making Vargas work.
Hunter pops it up right side. Hosmer makes the play. Detroit on fire with 2 out. Incredible in this game, and they've scored 4 of their 5 runs with 2 out. Royals baseball is brought to you by Panera Bread, coming soon to College and King in Overland Park. And by your Midwest Ford dealer. Visit us at yourmidwestforddealers.com. Beautiful afternoon. Great crowd on hand at the K, but the Royals have been taken apart by the Tigers in this series as Detroit has outscored Kansas City 21-4, and the Royals offense remains quiet. Verlander very responsible for that. He's not allowed a hit. He'll face Hosmer, Butler, and Gordon in the bottom of the fourth. He is one of those rare guys who's a threat to throw a no-hitter every single time out.
And when you get some support offensively, gives you even more confidence. You can go out and just relax, pitch his game. That's what he's doing.
Had Hosmer reaching for that one, so Eric down in the count, 0-2.
First series of the season, these two teams matched up in Detroit. Royals could have won easily both of those games. Third one got rained out.
And Detroit won both games on walk-offs. The first time that has happened to open the season for Detroit since their first year of existence back in 1901. In the second game that they won in 1901, Rex, they trailed 8-0 and scored 9 runs in the 9th inning. That's a good walk-off.
Yeah. Not good.
Hosmer swings and misses and strikes out. Number 3 in the game for Verlander. Hey fans, 2 weeks ago from today, excuse me, is our annual tribute to the Negro Leagues, and this year we've added a new element called Dress to the Nines. Help honor the tradition of attending Negro Leagues games dressed in your Sunday best by donning some nice attire to the ballpark, and will complete your outfit as the first 10,000 fans will receive a Monarchs fedora. Special ticket prices start as low as $15 with a portion supporting the Negro League Baseball Museum. For more information, go to royals.com/NLBM. It's very similar to what Monty and Joel were wearing last year. We've got one up here in the booth too. It's pretty cool looking. Why don't you put it on for us, Hud?
Awesome.
Well, you got to get your, you put it on over your headset. It's going to look,
it's got a nice
funky
little KC logo right there on the side. Folks, you're going to look good in it. A lot better than me and Fizz would.
But we'll be wearing it on Dress to the Nines Day.
Yeah, that's a quality item, folks. Get you one.
Here is Billy Butler, flied out to center field, his first time up. I thought there was a good article in the Kansas City Star this morning written by Andy McCullough. And he said in it, a reporter asked Eric Hosmer if the team had taken a downturn, and he said, no, it's 2 games. That's what starts it. The media saying that stuff. We'll come back, try and get a win off Verlander, get momentum going to San Diego. Well, Verlander hasn't done his part, but quite frankly, facts are facts. And Andy did bring up the fact that the Tigers have 6 players with a slugging percentage over .400. The Royals only have 1, and that man is their second baseman, Omar Infante. Butler strikes out swinging. That's 4 for Verlander.
Going to have to find some ways to get some offense generated. If they can get some guys on, not just in this game here, but their running game hasn't really come into play either. They've got speed in the lineup. Last year they were first in stolen bases, and it just hasn't all happened for them yet this year. It's going to, and it's a little bit early in the season. They're too good for it to totally shut down. But speaking of that, that's what Verlander, he's an ace. He's got that kind of stuff, and they were fortunate. Of course, they won those first 2. Now they've got him on the mound now, and his teeth are out. His fangs are out. His offense has already given him enough runs, what he thinks is enough, although the game's still early. You never know what can happen. They still haven't gotten a hit yet. they're going to have to find a way to do it themselves.
Rex, that's why you hear that word so often used in baseball, the word grind. And grind usually is about when you're not playing your best. And offensively, the Royals are not playing their best right now. So you have to grind your way through this. And when you do get hot, take advantage of it. The Royals put together those 4 straight months last year. June, July, August, September, all winning months. But they cannot afford to go through another really bad month chasing a team like Detroit. Lost 3 straight. 3-2. Gordon works a 2-out walk. That's the 3rd walk of the day for Justin Verlander.
They're able to get on base with the walk. They just need a knock. A couple of those and a big fly. Get back in this game.
That is 18 walks this year in 43 2/3 for Justin. The batter will be Salvador Perez.
Everything's working so far for Verlander, but all it takes is just a big hit to kind of get this offense ignited.
And the guy who got the homestand ignited in the right way is at the plate, Salvador Perez. The Royals trailed the Toronto Blue Jays on Tuesday night 5-2, and it was Perez who hit a 2-run home run that gave you hope. And it cut it to 5-4. And then Perez came up in that 6-run 8th inning and hammered in 2 on a double. This one will be squibbed to the first baseman Cabrera. He'll take care of it and take care of the Royals. Got his thumb though.
Kauffman Stadium. We will see Yordano Ventura start tomorrow night at Petco Park in San Diego. Sat down with him this week, his first ever full interview in English without a translator, and one of the things he talked about was all the fellow teammates that have been helping him out.
Bruce, and
Bruce,
Chio,
of course.
yeah. And Chio, Perez told me a lot, and Herrera, and Hoss, he told me, and Mutaka told me a lot. And everybody he told me sometime, you know, Vargas, he told me everything start after start. Yeah, and before he told me, hey, throw, you know, the boy. But Vargas he start first, you know, and more veteran with me, and he told me, hey, throw outside, inside, change up.
There's a little bit of Yordano Ventura. Guys, I want to talk about a few things here. First off, the full interview, and we talked with him for quite a bit, will air tomorrow on Hy-Vee Royals Live, which will be 8:30 Central Time before the game in San Diego. He was so nervous walking in there because he's never done a television interview without the help of Bruce Chen or a translator. And you know, none of us have ever been in those shoes before. Salvador Perez has been there. We see those segments with Salvador now where he takes the microphone and he interviews his teammates. He used to be absolutely petrified to do these interviews. So Yordano Ventura is going down that track. He's going to be really comfortable. He understands it well. He can speak it, but this is a big, big step for a young 22-year-old out of the Dominican Republic, and maybe a chance to get to know him a little bit. Obviously, the accent, very thick. He's still learning. But I really thought, Hud, it was a neat moment to see him have the courage to do that, and a chance for us and hopefully fans to get to know Yordano a little bit more.
Great job, Joel. You always do well with those guys because it's important to talk slowly to them and so they can understand your questions in order for them to give any kind of answer. But it takes a lot of courage to do that. And I had that situation in Japan when I played over there. I couldn't even attempt to speak their language. However, I would try to find one or two words that I could use whenever I was in front of their camera, in front of their people, just to let them know I was trying. So I commend Ventura a lot, and you, Joel, for bringing him out. This kid's going to be a solid pitcher in the major leagues for a long time. Hopefully he helps the Royals get to the promised land and wins a world championship in his day. But great job of bringing this young man out.
Yeah, Joel, I think you're very responsible because all of the players feel so comfortable with you that they want to do the interview. It's like Salvi coming up and photobombing you in the middle of an interview.
Well, Salvi's going to have fun no matter what he does. But
yes.
I'll get back, Fizz, when Salvi was, I don't know, about 20 years old or so, before he was even up in the big leagues and talking to him in the minors, and I'll remember it forever as long as I'm alive. He'd come up to me and say, easy questions. What are you going to ask me? Because he didn't, you know, he was concerned about having to think of it and formulate those answers. But knowing a little bit in advance, he could think about it. And I think that's where Yordano was at the other day.
Aoki makes a nice catch, tries to double him up, but getting back to first in time is Austin Jackson.
You know, it was interesting because Yordano walked in and saw the cameras and took a big, deep breath. And I said, look, let's just talk about this first. Okay, here's what we're going to talk about. Think about it a little bit. And I think he did great. And look, there'll be some things that you don't fully understand, and hopefully, you know, we're able to explain what those are, and a lot that you will understand. But you see the personality. I think a couple things that stand out to me. One, I didn't realize he likes, like many kids, to play video games in his downtime, but he also likes to cook a little bit, and I thought that was interesting. He told us that if he has his choice, he would like to strike guys out with the fastball over the changeup.
Safe at second base is Jackson with the steal. That's the third stolen base by Detroit in this game.
And the other thing he said, Fizz, was that while he knows that everybody calls him Ace Ventura, and he said he did see the movie once, and it was funny, and he likes that name, his preference is Little Pedro, because that was his hero growing up. But if everybody wants to call him Ace, he's fine with that. His other hero growing up was Jose Reyes. So imagine the nerves when the game started the other day, and the first batter he faced against Toronto was his hero, Jose Reyes. Come on, Hud.
Oh,
you know,
not just long enough.
Not just Reyes, but several other Dominican athletes that were on that team.
4 in a row.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think one of the reasons we thought Ned might have pulled him after 91 pitches earlier is because he was getting a little bit emotional. He's getting a little bit out of his game, trying to blow it by these guys just for bragging rights.
Well, the first 4, Reyes, Cabrera, Batista, Encarnacion. Those are all pretty famous Dominicans, all of whom he watched growing up. But his 2 favorite players, because he played shortstop and pitcher as a kid, were Pedro Martinez and Jose Reyes. And he finds himself facing Reyes. Reyes told him the next day, stop throwing so hard against me. It's hard to get a hit against you.
And he's a guy who is from a smaller town in the Dominican Republic. And he said every time Pedro would pitch, that game was televised. So he fell in love with Pedro, and because they were about the same size, and he heard that when Pedro signed his first contract with the Dodgers, he was about the 145 pounds.
He told me that he first hit triple digits. He was in Arizona at 19 years old, and he got to that 100-mile-an-hour mark, and understandably thought that was pretty cool. But one thing he was saying is he does like to try to strike guys out with that fastball and blow up by them with that triple-digit fastball, but he doesn't want to try for triple digits necessarily either. So that's some of the influence, I think, of guys like Shannon Vargas and Shields, trying to coach him a little bit, along with obviously the coaching staff.
And that's why he carries himself with an unusual maturity, because it's not like he was a superstar as a youth player, signed for $28,000 by the Royals at the age of 17. And it's not an arrogance, but he carries himself with a great deal of confidence, knowing that, hey, the hitters have problems facing me.
We haven't really, Hud, we haven't, you're right, they were talking about him coming out of his mechanics a little bit in that last start, but we haven't seen, that panic in him or that, being overhyped.
Ooh. And that will be, he did not advance. Dyson backed him up, but it was very close to the 10th error by a Royal pitcher this year.
Certainly Ventura's fastball is impressive, and his changeup and curveball this throw went a little bit wide. And Jackson couldn't advance because he was in an awkward position. But I love his mound presence. The fact that he doesn't rattle easily. He's a real cool customer, and I'm hoping that we can see that tomorrow in San Diego.
They'll need it, and he really has been a guy that they can count on. And I think one thing we've heard Ned Yost talk about it, and we can go to any manager or pitching coach, and they'll talk about this too, is repeating your delivery. And that's one thing that Ned talked about with, say, Danny Duffy, is still learning to repeat his delivery. The good ones, like a Shields or like a Vargas, guys that have been around a long time, if they start getting out of their mechanics, they know how to get back in there. And it seems so far to this point, Hud, that Ventura, if it's pointed out to him, you're doing this, doing that, he's able to make the adjustment.
That's another important aspect of being young and in the big leagues.
Hit to center field and deep. Dyson way back. And that ball's gone. And Avila's second home run of this series. It's 7-0 Detroit.
Alex Avila, let's not forget about this guy and his presence in that Tiger lineup down in the bottom. He's added some tremendous pop, also some experience that this guy has. They're a well-balanced attack offensively, 1 through 9. He's sitting down there in that 8-hole. And there's a pitch that was elevated belt high, and that's the first home run that Vargas has given up to a left-handed batter this year.
Boy, this is an example of a team on fire, and one that still doesn't have their offense going yet. Detroit trying to win their 5th straight, 7 of their last 8. Home field is so different in baseball than it is in basketball and football. Earlier this year, the Oakland A's lost 3 straight games to the Texas Rangers at home in Oakland. Then they go to Texas and they sweep the Rangers in a ballpark that's tough to steal a win. Ground ball third, Moustakas. Nice play. 2 outs.
I'll say that was a nice play. Against a speedy runner like that, ball had 3 hops to it. Moose, he got rid of it quickly. That's a really nice play. All right, 2 hops. Still coming in. Momentum going towards the Tiger dugout. How quickly he got rid of that. Over the top with something on it.
And he knew had to do with Romine running so well.
Right.
Now it's Davis, who is 2 for 3. Davis is a career .260 hitter in the major leagues, but hitting over .330 in his first month plus with the Tigers. He's a veteran, 33 years of age, out of Norwich, Connecticut. His 8th big league season.
Everyone knew that this Detroit Tigers team was going to be a different team this year. Okay, they were taking out Prince Fielder. They weren't going to have a lot of power, and their emphasis, Ausmus's emphasis on the team was to steal bases, and We'll have to talk about that more next half.
Dyson runs down the pop-up by Davis, but 2 more in the 5th on a 2-run home run by Alex Avila. TNT fan photo of the game. It's from Ike.
Beautiful shot, Ike. That's wall material.
And it is, of course, is brought to you by AT&T. Beautiful afternoon. We had cold weather for the Toronto series. It warmed up, and Detroit has taken advantage of the heat, and they have been on fire. 23 runs for Detroit in the 3 games, only 4 for Kansas City, and they've been no hit through 4 by Verlander. Verlander does have a couple of no-hitters in his career. Tossed the second of his career May 7th at Toronto in 2011. Moustakas pops it up. Foul territory. Avila makes the catch for the first out of the bottom of the 5th.
Fans, with Mother's Day only a week away, give your mom a special gift she'll never forget. Have Slugger personally deliver a Mother's Day sluggergram consisting of Royals earrings, flowers, Tippett's apple pie, tickets, and more. Deliveries are available for later this week, May 9th through the 11th. Visit Royals.com/slugger for more information. That sounds like a great opportunity for you guys to get your mother. Way to go.
Escobar grounded out to second his first time up. Royals no runs, no hits. They do have 3 walks. And the Tigers with 7 runs on 11 hits. That's pulled down the line, and that is a foul ball barely. Verlander's gone 4 1/3 innings of no-hit baseball. Tim Collins has begun to warm up down in the Kansas City bullpen. Good to see Tim back on the active roster after being on the disabled list with that elbow problem. Pitched brilliantly down in his rehab assignment at Omaha.
Just missed breaking up that no-hitter.
Now Verlander gets him to chase a breaking ball and strikes him out. Number 5 for the Detroit right-hander.
He's got him exactly where he wants him. Hard, soft, and remember, he's still got some upper 90s in him. He's been known to add and subtract off of that fastball, and he hasn't even shown him his best fastball yet.
His next pitch will be his 70th. But you and I remember a game 2 years ago when he threw 130 pitches in a victory over the Royals, and that was a time where the Detroit bullpen was a mess, and he was not going to let Jim Leyland take him out of the game. And he faced Alex Gordon, the final batter of the game, and after having the conversation with Leyland, he threw 3 pitches to Alex Gordon, one at 98, one at 99, and the last at 100, and struck him out. Popped up, foul territory. Romine racing over, and he will make a backhanded catch. 5 no-hit innings for Verlander. On Tim Collins, who just came off the disabled list with that elbow problem, pitched very well down in the minor leagues. You see Tim Collins this year in just a couple of games, and that's why he was placed on the disabled list. Steve Physiak, Rex Hudler, with the Hall of Fame broadcaster Denny Matthews, who joins us on Sunday afternoons. Good to see you, sir. And unfortunately, it's in a dire situation. The Kansas City Royals need some runs.
Yes. That I have brought new shoes to the booth. What do you think?
Whoa. Turn them sideways, Denny, so we can see. Those are
I just
great.
blew an ankle. But
yeah. No. Good flexibility, too.
Huh? You like those?
Those are really sweet. Now, did you bring your other pair that had all the runs in them, though?
Apparently not at the moment. But
okay.
I'm going to wear these on the road eventually. You like those?
I love them. Very stylish.
Well, you've seen some of this throughout. Even when the Royals were winning World Championship in 1985, they went through down times. And Rex and I were talking about the word grind, where sometimes you have to grind your way through these difficult times.
Well, every team, no matter how good, how bad, are going to have problems during the course. Hey, it's a long year, 162 games. You're going to run into spots like this. The key is to minimize these and maximize the good times. Obviously, that's what the good teams do.
And if you just go on a 3-game series, this is the best team we've seen this year.
Yeah, they're good. And their offense is very good. Ryan and I were talking over on the radio side.
There's a ground ball to Moustakas. And Kinsler is the first out of the 6th inning. Go ahead, Denny.
The Tiger lineup is full of very smart, very good, very professional hitters. And each and every one of them has a plan every time he steps to the plate. And the Tigers as a team have a plan, and then they have the individual plan as they step into the batter's box individually to work against a particular pitcher. And Cabrera, his second time up before he drew the walk, he was intent on going to right field. That's what he was going to do. And you saw the third time that he batted, he went to right field, drove in 2 runs.
On a nice little just lay me out, doubled on that line. He knew it was coming.
So right now Cabrera comes up. And he has had a fine series with 4 hits. Had that 2-run double that Denny talked about in the 4th inning that scored a pair of runs.
I was talking about last inning before the last out was made about the team has changed. They're not as much of a power hitting team. They're running the bases now. They've got 24 stolen bases in 26 games. Last year they had only 35 stolen bases in 162 games. So obviously this team is totally revamped. They've added speed and they're using it on the bases, which could make them even more dangerous than relying on that long ball.
Yeah, because they're balanced.
Exactly.
Yeah, the power isn't always going to be there, but the speed always is.
And that's the one thing that we have not seen from the Royals yet, is them get their running game on track and start moving those runners, and that's how they generate their offense, minus the ability to hit homers.
Cabrera to Infante. There's 2 outs, and today is the first time that Detroit has stolen 3 bases in a game against KC in 10 years.
Yeah.
It's a different look.
Well, we figured that was going to happen when they said so long to Prince Fielder and Johnny Peralta and signed Ian Kinsler, or traded for Ian Kinsler and signed Rajai Davis, and then traded for Andrew Romine. They're a much more athletic and quicker team.
And really good defensively. Last night, their outfield defense in the first 4 innings really turned that game around. Royals could have had a lead going into the 4th or 5th inning, but each of their 3 outfielders made terrific plays in the early going last night.
Well, management was determined to make Detroit more athletic and better defensively, because that was a minus last year. One of the reasons they lost to the Red Sox in the playoffs. Victor Martinez with a single, a pop-up, and an intentional walk in this game this afternoon.
Think he has a plan when he comes to home plate? You bet.
Yeah, every time, even when there's nobody on base, he's got an idea. And that's what I like to teach fans too, Denny, is the fact that every time a hitter comes to home plate, there's a certain situation. No matter what the situation is in the game, the score, anything. I mean, the runners ahead of you will dictate what's going to happen,
sure,
how you're going to perform.
Well, this team too here, the Tigers not only have a plan, more importantly, they don't deviate from it. They stick to it no matter what. Now, you make little minor adjustments, sure, but they stay with it.
Escobar throws out Victor Martinez. Detroit 7, Royals nothing. We'll be right back. The Buck O'Neill legacy seat. Sean is committed to spreading autism awareness in the Kansas City area, driven by his son Nicholas, who is on the autism spectrum. And while involved with Autism Speaks, he's rallied his family, friends, and employer, among others, in the community to get involved in the annual Kansas City Walk Now for Autism Speaks. Way to go, Sean.
Yeah, and thank you very much.
It's not autism, it's awesome, like autism.
You know what? We all have differences. And for him to help celebrate the differences those kids has is a beautiful thing.
Well, Rex, you're on that breath of fresh air as well. I mean, you have a son with Down syndrome. You took a completely different look at it, and you said it's up syndrome. He's happy.
That's right, Fizz, but also, it may not sound right, but we are blessed. He's on the autistic scale as well, so he has a little bit of both. And we're thankful for him and his differences. He's made a huge difference in our family. The unconditional love these kids bring and what they do in their school and their environment for others and the other kids is really fresh, especially here in Kansas City. The schools here are accepting. They accept the differences. It's a breath of fresh air to be out here with my family.
Well, thanks to you and people like Sean Leffler. And by the way, fans, the 6th inning is our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant is Mark Gibbs from Kansas City. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Mark will win $1,500. But if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Mark will win $25,000 from Sonic and the Royals. And for the 3rd time in this game, Nori Aoki has walked. That's the 4th walk issued by Verlander in this afternoon's contest.
Denny, what do you got on that? 3 walks. That's all we can muster.
Why is it so difficult for Justin Verlander to throw Aoki a strike? Now, if you went out and asked Verlander, he would shrug his shoulders and say, I have no clue.
That's right.
Right?
Hey, time to make something happen. Break up that goose egg.
Spacing Infante, his former teammate. Aoki with his 3rd career 3-walk game. He now has 11 this year.
This particular time in the game, guys got a no-hitter, team's got a 7-0 lead. It's the bottom of the 6th inning. If you were a Tiger or Osmus, would you be offended if the opponents bunted for a base hit?
I wouldn't.
Ball lands foul, and Hunter gave it everything he could to help out his pitcher, who's pitching this no-hitter.
You remember when Whitey Herzog had the Cardinals in the 80s, and they would run. They only had Jack Clark was their only big bopper. And they would steal bases, sometimes 7, 8 a game. And one night the Cardinals were leading 6-1, 7-1. They stole a couple of bases in an inning later in the game. And they asked Whitey about it afterward, and he said, well, if the other team had guaranteed me they weren't going to score any more runs, and they only had 1.
Omar Infante gets dusted, and you might remember a couple of weeks ago he got drilled in the left side of the face, suffered 6 stitches, and that's why he's wearing that protection on the left side of his helmet.
Man, this came as close as that other one did.
Hello.
Whoa, man, watch this one. It's almost very similar.
Yep.
I mean, almost identical.
So anyway, just to complete the thought, Whitey said, well, if the opponent will guarantee that they won't score any more runs, we won't steal any more bases. But you don't have that guarantee in baseball.
Right.
I agree about that unwritten rule. With a 5-run lead, you can't steal. With so many teams being so offensive, what lead is safe anymore?
Yeah, I want to know who wrote the unwritten rule.
Exactly. Vince Coleman was on that team, and I was doing a minor league game when he was with the Louisville Redbirds, and the Redbirds were leading by 8 runs, and he stole a base in the 9th inning, which would have been number 99 on the season. Well, he didn't think he'd face him. Well, the other team tied the game. They went into extra innings. He got drilled in the thigh and missed the next 2 weeks. Swing and a miss, and down goes Infante.
Well, let me ask you guys this. Are you just as offended if a guy hits a 2-run home run when you're ahead 7-1 if you steal a base. Is that as offensive as a stolen base?
Not at all.
Why?
He's doing his job. He's trying to hit the ball hard.
But if you're a stolen base guy and you steal a base, aren't you doing your job?
You would, but just some teams get irritated through the heat of the battle. Some teams, they just, they're saying,
I understand.
Well, you're rubbing it in. We don't like it, and then one thing leads to another in this game. It always has been that way.
Hosmer to left field. It is caught by Davis for the second out.
Although I don't think it is as much anymore with the offenses in our generation as explosive as they are. Heck, the Royals could come back and win this if they had the right type of pitcher and the right type of offense. They got hot. They could come back and win this game. So therefore, no lead is safe.
No.
Hosmer thought he had a base hit. Royals no runs, no hits through 5 2/3. Tigers 7 runs, 11 hits. Denny, how many no-hitters have you broadcast?
The Royals have had 4, right? Busby 2, Jim Colburn, Brett Saberhagen. So 4. Lester pitched a no-hitter against Kansas City and Boston. I wasn't there. And I think that's the only no-hitter against KC. Am I right?
I'm trying to remember.
How many hitters have you seen hit for the cycle?
That's more rare than a no-hitter.
We had that question on earlier.
Who was the first Royal to hit for the cycle?
How many have you seen?
I'm going to guess a half a dozen or so. 5 or 6. Freddie Patek was the first.
Nice.
In
Freddie.
Minnesota.
Way to go, Freddie.
Billy Butler gets the first hit of the game for Kansas City. Aoki will stop at second base. So Verlander goes 5 2/3 innings. And the fans here at the K show their respect for the truly great pitcher. Billy, who's always had success against Verlander, hitting .437 coming into this game, comes through with a base hit to right field.
Okay, back to our discussion. A walk and a single. There are 2 out. If Alex Gordon hits a home run here, the Royals then are a grand slam home run away from a tie. That's how quick it can happen.
I agree with you, and I would love to see that. Matter of fact, Denny, you might have to sit up here the rest of the game if that happens. If we can get a homer out of Gordon right here, you're not. Oh,
it was almost a home run.
Oh well.
And Nolan Ryan had one against the Royals. I just was wondering if you were on the call as we go to the break.
Had to be.
Had to be. We'll be right back. Time brought to you by Miller Lite.
Ventura going to be pulling the slab in San Diego tomorrow night, hoping he could be missing some San Diego Padres bats with that exceptional fastball. Off the table curve and change up. Oh, it's all he needs. Hopefully he'll get some offensive support, Denny.
It always helps, doesn't it? Takes the pressure off. Easier to throw strikes. Pressure's off Verlander now. He no longer has a no-hitter.
We have an interview coming up with Joe Goldberg. Did a nice little piece with him. We're going to see it tomorrow on the pregame show. We saw little snips of it today. Impressive how courageous he is to get out there in his broken English, talking to the people, letting the fans here in Kansas City know him a little bit. That's got to be tough to do.
I was just going to say that it's takes a little bit of courage to do that, but hey, it's all part of the process.
No question.
Tim Collins has Torrey Hunter down 1 ball 2 strikes. Collins back from the disabled list, retire the side in order in the 6th. And Hunter hammers one through the whole left side, so he stays hot. 2 for 4 this afternoon. So we head west to San Diego, then Seattle. On Monday, we told you Ventura against Eric Stoltz, and then Guthrie against Robbie Erlin on Tuesday. Wednesday afternoon will be James Shields against Andrew Cashner, and both pitchers have been pretty good this year. James did have a rough outing on Friday against these red-hot Tigers, but still has a 3.11 ERA. Cashner at 2.72. Jackson takes a strike. He is 1 for 3.
We were talking earlier about teams going through offensive slumps in the long season. Tigers will go through stretches like that. I mean, this is pretty impressive, the 3 games here, but hey, they're going to go through some stretches where they're really having problems scoring runs. Every team does.
Well, the first 3 weeks of the season, they were right around 500, and they were averaging under 4 runs per game. The last 10 games now, they're averaging 7.
Better weather's part of it.
Jackson goes to right field. Aoki has it. Hunter back to first. And Denny, you have done countless interviews with countless managers in your Royals tenure since 1969. What were some of the questions you would ask a manager when he was going through the difficult times? Because you had to do that interview every day.
Well, the obvious question, what as a manager can you do to help your offense along? There's only so many things you can do. You try to relax the guys. You can mess around with the lineup and the batting order. And a lot of times, and we've seen instances where a team will get a real goofy batting order. And it really loosens the guys up. They're laughing at the leadoff guy who maybe is the slowest guy on the team. Things like that.
Yeah,
and when you're really desperate, maybe you'll do some things like that.
We used to call those mystery lineups.
Yeah. Billy Martin used to put 9 names in a hat and then just pull them out. And then go 1, 2, 3, 4.
And, sometime it might take Ned to do that. But another thing I noticed is that they haven't been hitting on the field as often. And I like that because, watching the Royals take their batting practice, they typically go through their first round and go to the opposite field. But I see a lot of guys hitting balls into the fountain from a home run, home run, home run, home run. Forget that. That's not working. Let's just try to see if they can shorten up their swing. I'd like to see Grifol tell the hitters, I don't want to see 1 home run hit in BP. I want everyone to go the opposite field, not 1 homer. Let's see if we can do it. And then get their mind thinking, see the ball longer, go the opposite field, and then it'll naturally, reaction will happen in the game.
Yeah, and also, too, if you are a 6 home run guy, but you have good speed and you spray the ball around, don't be going up there thinking home run. Remember what kind of a player you are. Remember what you can do offensively and don't deviate from that. Because in a stretch like this, it's the old saying, you're trying to do too much. You're trying too hard. Charlie Lau used to say, try easier, which makes a lot of sense. Hud, you're in a slump. You're pressing. Try easier. Just relax. Let your ability come through.
I heard that so many times. I felt sorry for my hitting coaches. Mickey Vernon was my hitting coach with the Yankees. And he would say, gosh, you have to relax. You have to back off. I'm going to sit in back of the screen at home plate, and I'm going to tie a rope to your neck. And every time that ball crosses the plate, I'm going to jerk on that rope to get you back. Take it easy. You know, natural tendencies to go get that ball. Yeah. You want it. Even playing in Japan, they had megaphones in their dugouts. Okay, like cheerleaders have. I mean, big, you know, the cones. And I would hear that hitting coach yell, "Relax, relax," out of that thing, and I'd go, okay, I'd take a step out and go, okay, all right, I hear you. It's just hard to do.
Charlie would also say, you got to try too hard.
Danny, you've seen a lot of baseball. Do you think the Royals have the try too hards right now?
Some of them. Yeah. I don't think there's any doubt.
I mean, when you look down and only 12 home runs, and this team has a greater capability of more than that, and obviously second to last in runs scored, averaging less than 4 per game, and only 4 total runs in these 3 games.
Yeah, but I don't worry about the home runs, and especially in this ballpark. This is not a home run ballpark, and it's not a home run team. So if everybody thinks this team's going to get 350 home runs as a team, why, forget about it. Again, know thyself. Line drive hitters, use the gaps and the lines here in this ballpark. Just hit the ball hard. It'll find holes. If you consistently square it up, you're going to score runs.
Gordon racing for the foul line will pull it down. 2 outs now in the 7th inning. Well, Denny, we asked our fans, our Sprint family question of the day, what is the toughest offensive achievement to accomplish in a game? And 80% said to hit for the cycle.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, you have to have some speed and some power, right? I mean, triples are the toughest part of the cycle. So you got to have some speed to do that and a little bit of luck. And then you need a single, a double, and then you got to really square one up. Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt.
And how many guys who have gotten that triple in their last at bat, and you're knowing you're needing the triple, and it's the most difficult one to get.
A lot of times they'll hit what will be a double, and everybody in the dugout will be yelling, keep running, don't stop at second. Of course, you have to be ahead by 8 or 10 runs, but that's the fun part of the game. Don't stop, keep running.
Avila tried to check his swing, but now he's down in the count to Tim Collins, 0-2.
And, you know, that aspect of the game can be difficult as well as hitting. You know, you say, you know, keep running. Well, Whitey Herzog, when I played with him in the 90s, early 90s, he said, kid, you keep running till they tag you out. Would you just stop at a base once in a while?
Denny, thank you very much for joining us.
Always fun, boys.
Thanks, Denny.
Denny Matthews, Hall of Fame broadcaster.
behind the dugout, Diamond Club, or even Crown seats. For a limited time, you can go to ticketsforless.com, enter the code word Joel, and receive a nice discount on tickets to all Royals games. Check out ticketsforless.com for all your Royals tickets. And I want to give a little shout out, Fizz and Hud. Monty and I had a chance just a little while ago to go into one of the suites and visit some folks, some gentlemen and their wives that are here with the Wounded Warrior Project. So nice to visit with some war heroes, some Bronze Star winners, and I know they are thrilled to be here. We are thrilled to have them.
Thank you very much, Joel. And that is such a great program. Now we'll take a look at Justin Verlander's line, brought to you by Academy Sports. He's allowed one hit. That was by Billy Butler, a solid single last inning. He's walked 4, struck out 6, but the Tigers have absolutely dominated the Royals in this series, outscoring them 23-4. Now Salvador Perez to lead things off. Just yesterday we told you that shin contusion when he fouled a ball off of his front leg on Friday.
Catchers generally have the biggest bruises on the team. However, I've seen some interesting bruises on pitchers before too.
Sure, those comebackers.
I've seen bruises more colorful than the planet Saturn. You'd see some of them things and go, oh, look at that. Because that baseball, it does ugly things to the flesh.
And isn't it amazing where you can see the seams, the perfect seams in that bruise?
Yeah. It's not something players want to see.
Verlander upstairs 3-0 and mad at himself for falling behind in the count. He's starting the bottom of the 7th inning. He's gotten Salvador twice, once in a fly out to center, the other time in a ground ball hit to Miguel Cabrera. Tigers trying to go 17-9. There's a strike. Milwaukee right now with the best record in all of baseball. They have a record of 21-10. With a 6-game lead starting the day over the St. Louis Cardinals. That ball hammered to left, and Rajai Davis has it go over his head. And Salvador will cruise into second base. Davis misplayed that one as it was hit directly at him.
He hesitated for 1 second. That's all it takes on a ball hit directly over your head. That's the toughest ball for an outfielder to have to be able to judge that. So whenever you hesitate like that and you make the wrong choice, that happens.
So the Royals get their second hit, and they will substitute Brett Hayes for Salvador Perez. Rex was just talking about that nasty looking bruise he has on his left leg, and this allows him to get a couple of innings off before the Royals head out on the road and take on the Padres for 3 and then the Mariners for 4. And then we have a day off next Monday, a week from Monday. Ball 1. Moustakas over 2, a strikeout and a pop-up. Tigers not worried about Verlander, though. They still have that full tarp in their bullpen mound. One and 2.
Because you get to work with Denny Matthews on the radio side.
He's awesome.
And I know you've seen his card, his lineup card. I still can't get over looking at that lineup card.
Do you know he has every single lineup card going back to 1969?
No way.
He has all of them.
Where does he keep them? It's a lot of paper.
Fort Knox collects them, holds them for him.
Oh, but it's almost like it's typed. That's how great his writing is.
And he knows the game so well and can draw on so much history. He was there for game 1 when the Royals beat the Twins and Joe Keough had the game winner. Great to have him here again this afternoon. His 46th year. On the hands of Moose. That was the 97th pitch thrown by Verlander, and this might be his final inning. The Tigers do have a fine rotation, but right now one of their starters, Anibal Sanchez, is on the disabled list. Scherzer has been terrific with a 2.08 ERA. Verlander under 2.48. That's what he started this game with 6+ shutout innings. Now Moustakas goes down the right field line, and that ball is hooking and going foul. Had home run distance, but pulled it too far. Rick Porcello was terrific on Friday. His ERA is 3.66, and the kid we saw last night, Drew Smyly, at 2.45. Their starting rotation has the lowest ERA in the American League at 2.82. Moustakas chases one that was wide of the zone and strikes out.
Verlander gets you looking for that fastball in certain counts, and then he backs off with his changeup.
Boy, it had great action, Rex, the way it moved away from the zone. Escobar 0 for 2, a ground out and strikeout. And now he drives one into left field. That's a base hit. Hayes will be held at third.
Verlander at 100 pitches. He's thrown as many as 119 this year. That was 2 starts ago against the White Sox. Like he took a little bit off there, and that was out over the middle of the plate.
Would you have Dyson bunt in this situation?
Well, I'm not going to have him bunt. It's going to be up to him. Typically.
But it would be a bunt for a base hit.
Yeah, and you know, you score the run. If he wants to do it and feels like he can do it, why not?
He has bunted with 2 out this year and driven in a run. There's 1 out in this situation, and Avila talking with Justin. Right now, Castellanos is in at third base, and of course Cabrera has to hold Escobar at first.
So Verlander, he looked out there at that tarp you were talking about. He saw Trevor Vance's ground screw out there taking that off. He knows it's getting late.
He and Kroll, the left-hander, beginning to warm. Tigers tried to strengthen their bullpen on Friday by signing Joel Hanrahan. Strike 1.
They won't see Hanrahan for several weeks, though. He's recovered.
Probably more than that, because he's only a year removed from Tommy John surgery. Escobar will take second base.
Dyson wants to swing away, knock in those 2 runs, and maybe find a triple out there. Hit a gap.
Two in scoring position for Dyson with a 2-1 count. And he hits it to right field, and pretty well. And Hunter's going back, still going back, and the ball bounces in the warning track, hits the wall. 2 runs will score. Dyson has a triple, and the Royals have cut it to 7-2.
That's what I'm talking about. Find a gap. Hunter not showing Dyson a lot of respect when the power comes there. He's a little bit shallow. That ball stayed on the inner half. Dyson caught it just right. The back underside got a little backspin over Hunter's head. He had no chance to get to it. And there's your 2 runs. And with 1 out, chance to get another one here if Aoki can get him in.
Nori is the one Royal that Verlander has not been able to throw many strikes to. He has been up 3 times and walked all 3 times. He swings and sends it to left, but they had him play perfectly. Davis will make the catch. Dyson tags and comes home with the Royals' 3rd run. So Aoki drives in his 6th of the year on the sacrifice fly.
And still doesn't get credited with a plate appearance. Have a day.
Verlander had a no-hitter until there were 2 outs in the 6th inning. Billy Butler singled. He had a shutout through 6, but now he has lost that with a double by Salvador Perez. Brett Hayes pinch ran for him. Escobar singled. Dyson tripled in 2, and now a sacrifice fly has made it 7-3. Infante, the batter, checking a swing on a breaking ball low. Too short. Romine throws out Omar, but KC gets 3 in the 7th, and they have cut Verlander, and the Tigers lead to 4.
Baseball here in Kansas City. Panera takes us around the league now, and the White Sox come back to beat Cleveland. Seattle on top of Houston right now. John Buck leading the way. Minnesota is ahead of Baltimore, and Arizona, San Diego just underway. Royals are San Diego bound after this one. Our Mazda game break takes us to Cleveland, and a lot of interesting facts in this game. Most important being this: Diane Viciedo. Yeah, Jose Abreu homered again, but Diane Viciedo in the 9th inning, 3-run shot against the closer, John Axford. So that's one side of it. The other side, guys, well, 2 interesting notes. One, Corey Kluber set an Indians record at one point. He retired 7 straight batters via the strikeout. So that was big. And then the other one is George Gutaris was called up today, the former Royal. He hit 2 home runs, and that might be the end of his Indians career. He was up because Yan Gomes was on paternity leave. They needed a backup catcher. They needed somebody to come in, and Kataris hits 2 home runs.
Wow. How about that? White Sox were 14-17 going into that game. Well, here we go to the 8th inning. And the Royals will bring on Michael Marriott. Tim Collins did a good job in his first time off the disabled list through 2 shutout innings. Gave up 1 hit, no runs. The Royals' pen has been beaten up a little bit this week. They've allowed 13 runs in their last 4 games, including 10 walks and 2 hit batters. But they have not had a chance to get to the 2 main guys in Davis and Holland, because they had the 2 early wins this week over the Toronto Blue Jays, and now in danger of losing their 4th straight. Romine has a 3-1 count, and then Davis back to the top of the order, and Ian Kinsler. Ground ball past Moustakas, and Romine has his 2nd hit.
Opposite field, shortened it up, found a hole. That's it. He knows the kind of hitter he is. He's not up to a 3-1 count trying to juice one out of the ballpark. He's shortening up, trying to pad his lead, or pad his batting average a little bit there. That's a nice swing.
2 hits on the day, and he's up that batting average to 234. Davis has a couple of hits, and that's a chopper. Escobar will field it. Only play will be first and wide of the mark. And 2 on with nobody out for Detroit in the 8th inning. That is a base hit, they're saying, for Rajai Davis. That's their 14th hit of this game.
Escobar had no chance at either base. Ball was just topped. Romine was going to beat that at second base, and Davis runs well. With a good throw, might have gotten him. But still, that's what speed does. It makes you rush.
Now Ian Kinsler, who has a couple of hits on the day, an RBI, a run scored. His batting average has also climbed over 300. Marriott tossed a second straight appearance on Friday night, going a 1-2-3 ninth. But boy, he got some great glove work from Moustakas and Escobar in that 9th inning. Inside corner, 0-2. Rex, most ball players like to be deep in that batter's box. You see so many hitters, whether they're left-handed, right-handers, with their back foot on the back chalk line. But Kinsler's really up in the box. Why?
Yeah, well, not everybody likes to get on that very back. I never like to do that, and I know other hitters didn't either. They like to balance themselves between home plate. Sometimes you want to get up there in a position where you might be able to catch a ball before it breaks, or even, you know, you're more comfortable up there, and he obviously is. He's above anything that starts breaking this way. He's going to catch it before it reaches its maximum break by doing that. And this is a game of inches, and they say that because it is, and so that can make a huge difference. I mean, that's a foot difference in a lot of guys that sit back there on that line. And he so far, at least in this series, I haven't seen him alter. He crowds the plate, and he's there every single time. So he's comfortable at that point in the box.
Short, quick to the ball, pops it up here. Aoki in foul territory will pull it down. The runners tag but do not go. Aoki hits the cutoff man Escobar, and there's one down. Tigers, we told you, on fire on this road trip, and as we take a look at what they have done, they have lost only one game, but they're averaging 6.6 runs per game and 11.4 hits. And you go back even farther, and it's better than that. The last 10 now, they're averaging 7 runs per game.
Royals catching them at the wrong time, and let's keep in mind the Tigers have played in worse weather than the Royals. So when the weather turned, so did they. Coming here, they were like, wow, are you kidding me? We got some weather to play in and hit in, especially the last couple of days. That's made a big difference. And same thing for the Royals too. However, their pitching has been hot. Their starters have been really good.
Porcello, Smiley, and Verlander in these 3 games completely stifled the Royals offense. Casey scoring 2 runs on Friday, 2 on Saturday, and just 3 this afternoon. And they, as you know, have a record of 14-0 when they score 4 or more runs, and they're 0-15 when they score 3 or less. Cabrera swings and misses. Marriott has him down in the count 0-2.
Marriott, hey, he's been getting an opportunity in this last week here to really show himself, and he uses that fastball. He's spotting it. He's trying to keep it out of the middle. Slider, curveball, changeup. He's got 4. He's showing Ned that he can.
The runners will advance. Wild pitch charge to Michael Marriott.
Brett Hayes did all he could to try to block it and then to try to keep the double play in order. Or at least get an out over there. But Infante did the right thing. He stepped off the base, kept the ball in front of him from going into the outfield, saving Hayes an error.
So KC will bring their infield in more so on the right side than the left. And then Escobar comes creeping in, and Cabrera takes a vicious rip and sends it foul. And when the big guy's at the plate, you don't want to be so close.
Well, you know, but he's not trying to pull the ball. That last swing there, that ball was in, and he was trying to shoot the ball to right field. He sees where Aoki's playing way out there, and right, he just wants to pick up those ribbies. Smart hitter. Another shot to right.
Aoki was talking to him in Comerica about that right during batting practice. He and Kosuke, who's his interpreter, and he wanted to know, how do you get that kind of power with an inside pitch to the opposite field? So Cabrera was explaining to Nori. There aren't too many hitters, though, that can do what Miggy can do. Marriott strikes him out. Went right after him with the fastball.
And he tried to inside out that again. Probably shouldn't have. If he'd tried to pull it, he might have squared it up. The ball was by him. He was thinking something off speed. I wonder if Cabrera told Aoki that it had anything to do with being 6'4" and 240 pounds. About how he generates that power.
They are going to intentionally walk Victor Martinez for the 2nd time in this game.
And 4th time in the series.
And prior to this series, the Royals had not intentionally walked anyone.
You're going to see a lot of this. We're not going to. Victor is. Torrey Hunter's on deck, and I know what he's thinking. Good. Let me have a shot with the bases loaded.
All Hunter's doing lately is put together an 11-game hit streak. 2 for 4 today, batting nearly 400 in the last 11 games. Bases loaded for the Tigers, and Marriott trying to get out of this mess. Send the Royals offense out there with the middle of the order coming up in the bottom of the 8th.
He's 2 for 3 this year. Torrey is with them loaded up.
Takes a rip and a high heater.
And he only has 10 grand slams in his career.
Only 10. To right field, a base hit. 2 will score. And Detroit takes a 9-3 lead.
Yep, he went with it. Marriott wasn't going to give him anything he could handle out over and drive it. He said he was going to stay on a corner, and Torrey said, all right, I'll just pick up some ribbies. It's hot.
Austin Jackson 1 for 4. A strike on the outside corner right at the knees. Nothing in 2. Royals started the series with an ERA of 3.35. It obviously has gone up considerably in this series when Detroit has pounded out 25 runs in 3 games. Vargas got the start. He gave up 7 runs in 5 innings. One in the second, 1 in the third, 3 in the fourth, 2 in the fifth, and 2 in the 8th for Detroit. The Royals scored all 3 of their runs in the bottom of the 7th. Outside, 2-2. Fouled off. Minnesota has a 5-2 lead that they've taken to the 8th inning on Baltimore. And Phil Hughes got that start today. He's pitching much better. Joe told you the White Sox over Cleveland 4-3. Tampa Bay beat the Yankees 5-1.
Jackson, he's battling up there. He's fouling everything off.
Marriott's thrown 32 pitches, way too many in this 8th inning. And that one is off the glove of Michael. Alcides Escobar grabs it barehanded and fires a strike. A terrific play by Escobar. Goes 1-6-3, but 2 more for the Tigers in the 8th. brought to you by Thoroughbred Ford. The selection is bigger and the prices are lower at Thoroughbred Ford. By Steel, find a helpful servicing Steel dealer near you. Visit steeldealers.com. And by Academy Sports. Right stuff, low price, every day. Justin Verlander, 5 2/3 innings of no-hit baseball. Billy Butler broke it up. But he really put together an absolutely great game. 7 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs. And Porcello, Smiley, and Verlander had completely stifled the Royals offense for much of this series. So now Kroll takes over. We saw Ian on Friday. Through 1 inning of shutout baseball. He'll face Eric Hosmer here in the bottom of the 8th. Then Billy Butler, then Alex Gordon. So lefty, righty, lefty.
Yep. Royals will see a fastball. High 80s, low 90s. Power curve. Change up to the righties.
Royals got a pretty good game from John Lamb down in the minor leagues yesterday. Lamb got the win in Omaha's victory over Oklahoma City 4-2. Hosmer goes high and deep to left field, but back of the track is Davis to pull it down. Well, your Kansas City Honda dealers bring you the MTP of the game, the most trusted player, brought to you by the most trusted brand, Honda. Billy broke up Verlander's no-hitter in the 6th.
Yep, just take a piece of cheese and slice it over to right field there.
He's now hitting .432 against Verlander. Now he'll face the left-handed throwing Ian Kroll. For the first time in this game, Billy 1 for 3 in the afternoon. Two and 0. Some pretty good pitching yesterday by the Royal minor leaguers. I told you about John Lamb, and also Francisli Bueno made his first rehab outing, striking out 2, giving up just a hit. Sam Selman pitched 5 shutout innings for AA Northwest Arkansas. He was a 2nd-round pick out of Vanderbilt a few years ago. And Butler drops one in the gap, right center field. He'll have himself a 2-base hit.
Royals alumni batting practice is back at the K on Saturday, June 14th. Anyone 25 years or older can join Royals alumni on the field from 8 a.m. to noon for only $300. You'll receive breakfast, a t-shirt, and shorts, along with an autographed baseball by the pros who will participate. Call 816-504-4150 to sign up today.
Here at the K, 9-3 Tigers in the bottom of the 8th. Butler just doubled. Gordon comes up now looking for his first base hit. Alex did walk back in the 4th, 0 for 2. Broken bat, rolls it to the first baseman Cabrera. 2 outs. Alex must be the most expensive baseball player for lumber companies to work with.
Oh, I'm sure. He might average 1 a game. I'll show you the phantom camps. He's pulling his hands through there, but that ball got in on him. They call that a jam shot.
So Brett Hayes comes up with 2 out. Butler at 3rd.
Hoping Hayes can get him a batting average right here.
He is 0 for 7, and he sends a sinking liner that's caught by the shortstop Romine. So we'll head to the 9th inning. All Detroit 9-3. Simply because Greg needs some work. He has worked in 11 games this year, has a solid ERA, but he hasn't pitched in a while. So Greg out there to take on the bottom of the order of the Detroit Tigers, who have 9 runs on 15 hits in this game. Nick Castellanos will lead things off. He'll be followed by Alex Avila and then Andrew Romine. Greg last pitched on Wednesday, closed out a 4-2 win. Pitching around a 2-out double to record his 7th save, which is tied for 3rd in the American League going into the day. Castellanos goes after the first pitch and lifts it high in the air. Gerard Dyson there to make the catch. 1 out. Now Avila, who was Detroit's 5th round draft pick in 2008 out of Alabama, son of the Tigers assistant general manager Al Avila. And that's some kind of baseball family that he comes from. His grandfather retired as the Dodgers vice president. So you're growing up just learning baseball, baseball, baseball.
He's a nice catcher.
He's hit 2 home runs in this series. Now has 3 total on the year.
That's a great shot right there. Oh, like to have those seats, huh? Tickets for less can help you. You can see the break on the ball, everything. No wonder the scouts like to sit behind a screen. I see everything.
3-1 Greg has to Alex Avila. Avila hit that 2-run home run back in the 5th inning off Jason Vargas. Vargas afternoon, 7 runs allowed in 5 innings. He will next pitch against his old ball club, Seattle, this weekend. Out of play. The Royals going to San Diego next. We told you that will be Ventura tomorrow against Eric Stoltz, Guthrie on Tuesday against Robbie Erlin, and on Wednesday afternoon, Shields against Andrew Kashner. That game will start at 2:40 Central Time.
2 lefties and a righty.
Avila went, and he strikes out. So Andrew Romine will step up against Holland, who's had a good day both offensively and defensively. A 2 for 4 afternoon with a couple of runs scored.
Gives Holland 17 strikeouts and 10 innings of work. Excellent.
All one. Rex, they've gone to the 10th inning at Fenway Park. Quite a game between the Athletics, who lead the American League West with a record of 18-12, and the Boston Red Sox, the world champions, 2-2 in the 10th inning. That was a game started by Sonny Gray and John Lackey. Back up the middle. Infante bare hands, not in time, and Romine runs too well, and he has a 3-hit day. They haven't done much wrong, have they?
No, but Infante, look at this. This is special here. To make a play going far to your right towards the shortstop, your momentum, and to almost throw out the guy who's a speedy runner, that's a great play. Tremendous hands by Infante.
Yeah, the more you see him, the more you really appreciate the way he plays the game.
I mean, there's a lot of guys that would just try to backhand that with their glove and make that, but he thought he had a chance, and he almost did. Romine getting his batting average up.
16 hits for Detroit this afternoon. A 3-hit game for Davis, 2 hits for Kinsler, 1 for Cabrera, 1 for Martinez, 3 for Hunter, 1 for Jackson. A home run by Castellanos, a home run by Avila, and now a 3-hit game by Romine. Holland has him down 0-2.
You got to look for a fastball.
Struck him out. Bottom 9 we go at the K. Detroit 9. The Royals 3. Those three, stay with us because we'll have that Boulevard Royals live after the game with Joel Goldberg and Jeff Montgomery, who are up there at Budweiser patio. And they'll be talking about this game and this series with Detroit, and then looking ahead to the Western Trail to San Diego and Seattle. Royals want to forget about this one. This was a pasting by the Tigers as they have outscored the Royals 25-7 in the 3 games, going for their sweep. And Kansas City hasn't been swept at home since mid-August of last year. Last time the Tigers swept the Royals at the K was 2 years ago in April. Moustakas takes strike 1. It has been a rough afternoon for Mike. 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts facing Verlander, and now he gets the right-hander Al Albuquerque.
And Albuquerque's got some good stuff. It's on the mid-90s fastball, slider, changeup. Moose just pulled.
Upstairs, the count moves to 1-2. He recorded his first save of his major league career back on April 9th at LA. And he was able to establish career highs last year in appearances with 53, innings pitched 49. Also strikeouts, 70 strikeouts in only 49 innings.
Well, I mentioned he's got tremendous stuff. Big part of their bullpen.
Yeah, the first time we saw him was 2011. And he was flat brilliant, going 6-1 with a 1.87 ERA and 67 strikeouts in only 43 innings. The only concern was he did have a high number of walks. And he starts the bottom of the 9th inning by walking Moustakas. He's been especially good against Kansas City's offense. A 0.71 ERA in 11 games against the Royals. And here is Escobar. 1 for 3. And he scored one of the 3 Royal runs this afternoon.
Tigers head home to play Houston for 4. So they have a chance to keep their streak rolling. Of course, any team can beat any other team any given day in baseball.
I'll take my chances with Max Scherzer going up against Houston's to be announced.
Yes.
In that 3-run 7th, Perez led off with a double. And after Moustakas struck out, Escobar then singled, and then Dyson tripled in 2 runs, and he scored on Aoki's sacrifice fly. Two balls and 2 strikes. Well, for the second straight batter, he has gotten ahead. He got ahead of Moustakas 0-2, then walked him. He was ahead of Escobar 1-2, and now it's a full count 3-2. In there, strike 3 called.
Put a nice wrinkle on that slider. He didn't just give him a fastball. His fastball, he hasn't had really good command with it. He's been losing that, but he says, I'm going to go back with a little slider, see if I can get that over, and he did.
After that Wednesday win, the Royals were 8-3 at home, but now they're in danger of losing their 4th straight. Dyson has a triple and 2 RBIs, now 4 driven in this year. We told you that Lorenzo Cain is getting closer and closer to getting back with the big league club. He's rehabbing in Omaha. DH'd on Friday and played center field yesterday. Pulled foul. Again, we invite you to watch tomorrow night's game with Ventura dealing, and that will be on Fox Sports Kansas City, coming to you local time at 9:10 in the evening. Dyson with a chopper over the hill. Romine has it. Quick toss got him. Well, he gets it in and out of his glove quickly.
It's a good looking shortstop.
And really, with this offense, Rex, they only need defense.
You're right. And he's got that to provide for him. He's looking at it as a chance he can take this job and run with it. Be their guy.
He played about half the season for the Angels last year when they had an injury to Ibar, and then he was the backup middle infielder, and he hit .259 for the Angels. Here is Aoki, who has walked 3 times and hit a sacrifice fly. Aoki hitting .380 at home. That's a single to center field, and coming around to score will be Mike Moustakas, and that will make it a 9-4 game. Magic number's always been 4, so why not go ahead and throw a bunch of runs out there?
Be nice to see. That's a good looking hit for Aoki. Checks in for his first hit of the game, but he's had 3 walks and a sacrifice fly. 1 for 1 with a ribby.
2 now.
2 ribbies.
The Royals have not lost a game this year when they've scored 4 or more runs. 14 wins, no losses. And they haven't won a game yet this year when they've scored 3 or less. It's 9-4 Tigers late. Infante 0 for 4. Started this series on Friday with a couple of hits, including a big triple. Two strikes on Infante, 2 out. Tigers leading by 5, trying to push the record to 17-9 and take a 5-game lead on KC. Foul back. We told you how the Tigers changed from a power team to more of a speed athletic team this year, but still their strength is starting pitching. We saw 3 terrific starts in this series by Porcello, Smiley, and Verlander as Omar Infante singles up the middle.
Give Hosmer another shot here. See what he can do.
He sent Davis all the way to the wall last time up with a long fly ball to left.
Still, just not getting it. He's got plenty of power that way. Just not quite barreling the ball like he wants to.
So Avila will talk to Albuquerque. All of a sudden they're getting somebody else ready down in that Detroit pen as Albuquerque has given up a run. And that's Joe Nathan getting ready. So to slow things down for Albuquerque and keep the Royals offense at bay, Jeff Jones comes out for just a visit with Albuquerque, but also to allow Nathan to continue to throw just in case they need him. And they're thinking they may need him if Hosmer goes deep. Then all of a sudden you're looking at a save situation as the Royals would be down by only 2.
Would be nice. Hosmer look for something out over and go dead center. Ball's carrying all to all fields.
2 on, 2 out. 1 in. Aoki second, Infante first. Hosmer takes ball 1. And Albuquerque, instead of going first pitch fastball, went first pitch slider, but missed.
He's got to come in there with that fastball.
Hosmer, though, chased another slider, and it's a 1-1 count.
He's really anxious to do something. You can tell he's pressed. He's not seeing the ball.
Last year, George Brett and Pedro Grifol got him to start his swing a little earlier. And Pedro really thought maybe a couple of weeks ago that he was getting into those bad habits and cutting off his swing. Two balls, 2 strikes. Fouled back. Butler waiting his turn on deck, hoping he has another shot at the right-hander Albuquerque. That will get out of play, and it'll stay 2 balls and 2 strikes. Popped him up, foul territory. And the Detroit Tigers complete their sweep of the Kansas City Royals, and they do it in resounding fashion as they outscore KC 25-7 in this 3-game series. And Rex, the Royals did run into Detroit at the wrong time.
They did, but you know what? This game, you're going to have to figure something out, turn it around, get that offense going to support some pitching here. They can get back to 500. That's got to be their steady climb. Try to win some games on the road.
Verlander gets the win. Vargas takes the loss. We'll come back and talk more about it after this.